with y'all. And what we'll do, there are some things in here that will make some clashes if you're running clash detection in Navisworks, so we'll go ahead and clean that up. And we'll make the interior of the building a little more realistic, and then what we'll do, we'll make a schedule of quantities with the parts versus the original to show the discrepancy between what you would find if you did a takeoff with parts versus if you did it with just, say, your standard walls and floors and ceilings and all. And so what I'm getting at is when we get our models like this, they'll come like this from the architects and the engineers, and they'll be at a real macro level. We can break them down so we can do our more accurate estimates off them. We can do them with just the walls or the floors or the ceilings and all that, but we have to incorporate formulas to make up the quantity of, say, your studs and your drywall and your sheathing and your exterior and all that stuff. So instead of doing that, Revit will allow us to make the parts with the model. Let me see. Let me get the door real quickly. All right. So if we see in here, we got the model in 3D view, and we'll do most of our manipulation in 3D view so we can just visualize it, and it's a lot easier to do it that way, at least I think. So let's go ahead and hit one of the sides. I just hit the back side on the view cube, and let's highlight the first floor, and we will hide this in the view so we can expose. This is the floor on the second floor. Let's go ahead and edit this because obviously we would have a clash right here with the stairs. So to do that, we'll just make a hole in the floor by taking this rectangle tool and going right here. The light's busted. The switch is busted. We fix it. I'm sorry about that. And we'll make the little opening here for the stairs, and we'll hit the check mark, and we'll go ahead and say yes, and we can go amend that later if needed. But as you see, we have a little opening for the stairs. But let's go ahead and hide this floor so we can expose the ductwork underneath. And I believe either the ceilings are hidden in your view, and if they're not, all you would have to do is highlight it and right click it and then hit hide in view elements. But if they are hidden in view, this is to show where, say, a mechanical guy were modeling this building, and an architect is modeling it as well, and obviously, the mechanical guy didn't cut out the hole, or the architect didn't cut out the hole, so we got to go ahead and cut out that hole so that if we were doing clash detection, the ductwork can go through it. And I encountered an error, or really a problem, in the last video with this because I was trying to add another hole over here. What I found when we go to divide the parts and make that hole in the wall, this one wall is a part, well, really an element in itself. So I can only get like the first layer of the parts to just the drywall over here, and it wouldn't keep on going through the rest of the wall. When we exclude our parts, we have to actually exclude it all the way through the entirety of the wall. Through both sections, and so that will exclude that part. So let's go ahead and create a part out of this wall. In fact, let's go ahead and highlight this whole model, and let's go ahead and unhide everything real quickly, and this will prep up the rest of the class. Let's highlight everything, go to filter, and check none, and then just go ahead and check floors, ceilings and walls, and we'll hit OK. And we're going to create parts out of the floor, ceilings, and walls, because what we're going to do in today's class is go ahead and edit those parts, and then I'm going to show you the discrepancy between the original and the parts. So we'll go ahead and create parts, and it should come up with a warning, and this will show that the parts cannot be properly adjusted for joint condition, geometry may be inaccurate. And as you'll see, like right here with the wall, this is not how it actually be constructed. We'll go ahead and edit that in a little bit, or like right here, right here, right here. We'll edit that in just a bit. But for right now, let's go to the level 1 floor plan. I'm sorry. Let's hide the top, the second floor, as we did before. And let's hide this second floor, the hardwood floor. And we should have this wall with the parts on it. So what we can do, we want to divide this part. So we'll go ahead and hit divide parts. And we will edit the sketch. We'll set the reference plane again to pick a plane and hit OK. And we will hit on the front of this gypsum board and then hit the rectangle tool. And we're going to go right up to this wall, and we'll make a rectangular opening right here. And because this ductwork goes through the wall here, we'll make another rectangular opening on this wall. And instead of dividing the part 2 times, instead of 1 as we're doing here, the reason being, if we do it a second time, like in the last video, it'll just exclude this part of the gypsum wallboard, and that's a fiasco. We're much better off doing it this way. So let's go ahead and hit the check mark. And we can hit the check mark again. And we should have 2 little rectangles here. So let's go ahead and we can go ahead and hide these ceilings if we'd like. If it makes it easier for you. And we want to select this hole in the wall. So we'll go here, and then we'll hold down Control and select this, and we'll go to Exclude Parts. And we have this problem like we did in the last video. So that should create an opening in your wall, and we can go ahead and do that on this wall. We go to Divide Parts, Edit Sketch, set the work plane, pick a plane, and go to this wall. And then we'll go ahead and choose the rectangle tool like we did on that wall, and open the wall up like this, and hit the check mark again, and one more time. And let's go ahead and highlight that rectangle. Let me see if I can not select that, and hit Exclude Parts again. So again, we're just making holes in the wall for our duct work. We'll go to Divide Parts, Edit Sketch again, set the work plane, pick a plane, let's edit this sketch, set the work plane, we'll go ahead and do this for all the walls. Additionally, I believe we can go ahead, if we wanted to, we could cut this out by using the cut tool. But we'd have to draw something for that. So let's go ahead and hide all our ceilings. And we can cut this part. And we have an opening there. But one thing we'll see with our parts, you can go ahead and add that to all the openings if you really want to, but we'll go ahead and move one. You know, if you notice right here, we have a bit of an issue because it looks like the stud layer is coming through and hitting the brick. And so obviously this is going to create an issue. So in order to fix that, we have to change our parts. So what we can do is go ahead and select each one of the parts. Right here we have an air barrier, and we will go ahead and show the shape handles here. Hit apply, and then slide the part back. And for here, let's see, we'll have our sheathing. We'll go ahead and show those shape handles and slide it back. And we'll show these shape handles and slide the material back, which is the metal stud layer. And we'll lastly do this on the gypsum and size it according to how it would be constructed.
You said we made some, I was going through stuff back.
Yeah.
You said we made some mistakes last class.
Yeah.
When divided the part. What was the mistake?
Oh, if you looked at the recording, what was happening, I couldn't make it go through all the way through the part, which is for some reason happening on this one as well.
It was in the recording?
Yeah. Yeah, for last class that I sent y'all, I believe last night. But it won't go through. So this will be a more accurate representation of how the actual construction were to occur. Revit won't let you completely detach this because it will completely detach the elements and then mess up the relationship between the two, but it should not produce significant error between the actual material quantity and what is modeled here. So what we can do, if you look at the parts, this is how it would actually be constructed. In real life. And so let's go ahead and edit each one of our connections here as per standard construction techniques. So we'll go ahead and slide these parts back to the degree that Revit will allow us. So we'll show the shape handles and slide them back, and we will show these shape handles. And again, slide this forward. So again, this is much more accurate as to how this would actually be constructed in the field. Let's see if I can click this last piece. And again, if you can't get it exactly right, that's okay. We're just looking to get much closer than we were.
my detail's not showing up like that, like the wall.
Oh, it's not. One thing, look down here on the detail,
Yeah.
level of detail, and you can change that to medium or fine, and I believe it should show up.
Medium and hidden line, is that what you want?
I'm on fine, and I'm on, yeah, let me see your hidden line, yeah. Is it not coming up? Have you changed it to a part?
Oh, yeah. So what did you do? You highlight the wall?
Yeah. All you have to do to change it to a part is go ahead and click on it. Well, I can't click on it now.
So
But if it were in original,
click on the wall.
yeah, click on the wall, and then,
Create part.
yeah, create part.
Do that for all.
Yeah. And so what you could do, you could highlight the whole building, and then just go to filter it to the ceilings and walls, and then go to create parts. As you can see, the construction materials are coming together right here in the corner, much more accurate than they would be with just the standard wall. And so, is everybody caught up to that? Roughly.
The level of detail setting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the level of detail setting? Fine. I believe it'll show up with the medium as well. Let me see.
I selected everything and changed it to fine, but still I'm not getting the brick wall and the add value detail.
Have you changed it to parts yet?
Show parts, right?
Yeah. Or how to convert it to a part? No, to convert it to a part, you would have to select a wall, and then let me see here. You go to original. So this is what yours looks like about roughly. You go ahead and you select a wall, and then you hit this button right here called create parts. I can't do it now because mine's already created parts, but that would convert your wall into a part. Is everybody caught up to that? Okay. So we'll just go ahead and finish cleaning up the rest of this model. By selecting the part and then hitting show shape handles, and then sliding the part back as far back as possible in accordance to how you would actually build the structure. And so this one, like the metal stud layer, won't let you go back completely, just because of the relationship with the other wall when it was an original. However, you can get it, within a tolerance of say an inch. So we can go here to the gypsum board, show the shape handles again. And we can go to this air barrier, slide it up to the brick, and slide this brick up again, just to close off the wall as it would be constructed. And again, you're going to want to check where your interior walls tee into your exterior walls, and so it should be constructed just about like this. And you may have to edit these depending on the wall. I can go ahead and check the rest of them as we go on, but let's go ahead and finish up this last corner by sliding this back, or actually up to this brick, and we'll select the sheathing, show the shape handles, hit apply, slide it back again, and we'll slide this stud back. Slide the sheathing back, and there you have a constructed corner. So let's go ahead and finish up the interior. I'm not sure if there are any problems here. It doesn't look like we have any right now. Right here we have a slight problem. So let's go ahead and slide this drywall back to the stud layer, and we'll slide this stud layer forward to the wall, and we'll actually slide this stud a little bit back and then slide this a little bit forward, just to make it more accurate as to how you would construct the building. Now you see there'll be an overlap here, but when it comes to the material schedule, we'll eventually sum up the lengths of these, and so it won't matter that there's a slight difference here. And let me just look at the rest of this. The rest of it seems to be very accurate. All right. So additionally, in one of the classes we changed the flooring right here to have some concrete flooring as to represent what it would be if you were to walk in with, say, rainy boots and not to mess up the wood flooring. So let's go ahead and do that with this flooring as well. We'll pick the plane, pick the top plane, and we'll select from here to about here. Put the check mark again, and we will change this the material by original to concrete cast in place. And so you see a slight difference here. And this, I'll show you how this comes into play when we make our part schedule. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and make that part schedule now. But not before making the second floor parts as well, because I believe, yeah, these are parts, so we're good. So what we can do now is we can go ahead to our Analyze tab and hit Schedule/Quantities. And we'll scroll down to Parts, and we'll select OK. And what we'll do, we will go to the name, the material. We will go to the original family, add that in. We'll add the length in, and we will add the height in, as well as the volume. And we'll select OK. And so what this will show you all of the materials we have in the building.
What are the categories that you selected?
Material, original family, length, height, and volume.
What does original family say?
Do what?
What does the original family subdivision come under? I understood material, height, volume, and other things. What does original family do?
Oh, what does the original family do? Oh, we're just doing that to show this is coming from the base wall, and we can compare it to when we do the original schedule. And so we'll focus on the walls here. Of course, you'll see the ceilings and the floors in here. We're going to focus on the walls right now. So let's sort this based off the materials. So we'll go to sorting and grouping, and we'll select edit. And we will go to material in an ascending order, and we'll insert a blank line after each change in material. And so as you can see here, we have the quantities of each of the different materials. Which will come into play in just a minute. So what we want to do now is go ahead and go to formatting so we can edit the data, or really analyze the data. And we'll go to length, and we'll change this field format from we'll deselect the project settings and go to, instead of feet and fractional inches, we'll go to decimal feet, and we will go to 2 decimal places, and we're not going to use any unit symbol. And the reason for this, we're going to go ahead and export this data to Excel. And when you go and export the data to Excel, if we were to have the data, for example, like this 28 foot 10 3/4, Excel can't read that, and we can't do any formulas based off of that measurement. So in order to do the formulas based off the measurement, we have to go ahead and change it to decimals. And we'll go ahead and select OK, and we'll go to the height, change this field format as well, decimal feet, 2 decimal places, and have no unit symbol, and we'll do that with the volume as well. We can still say with cubic feet, 2 decimal places, and no unit symbols. The real key to analyzing these is suppressing the unit symbols, but we can go ahead and add the unit symbols on the headings here if needed. Is everybody caught up on that? Okay. So now what we'll do is go ahead and export, and we'll go down to reports and go to schedule, and go into whatever file you want to save this in. I'm going to go to this class, and you're going to want to go ahead and leave all these checked and make the field delimiter a tab, and select OK, and you should have your file exported into a text file. And so to use this, we're going to go ahead and go to Excel. This is from a practice beforehand, and we can go to File, Open, and go to wherever you saved the file to. And this should bring up a dialog in Excel asking how you want to import the data into Excel. So we're going to go ahead and keep all of the settings as they are. Go to Next, go to Next again, and then hit Finish. And we should have a part schedule based off of what we just did and what we just made. So let's go ahead and format this a little bit so we can work with it. And we will make a few formulas to analyze the data. So let's sum the length, height, and volume of the air. Well, we don't really need the air, but the brick, and as you can see, we'll have 3.58 cubic feet of cast in place concrete. And so if we want to change this to cubic yards, we will equals divided by 9 or 27. And let's go ahead and go down to the gypsum wallboard. And we can find out the exact length, height, and width of the gypsum wall. I mean, we don't really need the volume, but we do need the height and the width to find out the area. And we can go ahead and finish this up for our stud layer. And our oak flooring. And our sheathing. And so what this will allow us to do, it'll give us quantities for the different materials in the building. So we can then take these quantities and make formulas to come up with the estimate for the building. But this is just the first step in the quantity takeoff. So to compare this to the original, let me see here, just go with yes. To compare this to the original properties of the walls and the ceilings and the floors, let's go ahead and go back to our model so we can close out this part schedule. Let's go ahead and go to the 3D view. And let's go to the Analyze tab. And let's go back to Schedule/Quantities. And we can go to Walls down here. And hit OK. And we'll go to Family. We'll go to Length. And Height. Should be a height in here. Go to Width. And we'll go to Area. And we'll go ahead, oh, and unconnected height, there we go. And we'll select OK. And so
how do you add, suppose if you want to add a column, how do you add on over here?
Add what now? Like a column?
On the wall schedule, suppose you want to add another column. How would you do that?
From here,
yeah,
you go into the columns group and you go to insert, and it's right here. And so you can add anything you want to in here, just depending on what you want to add. Again, with our keynote tag, if we were to add a keynote to a certain material in here, it'll again put this into the schedules. Then we can easily estimate if we're looking for a certain listing of a certain part of the wall. It'll easily correspond. Again, if you want to do databasing, with your BIM model. You have a database of those materials, and you have pricing, and you have benchmark pricing off of it. You can connect it to that. So here we have all the lengths, the heights, the widths, and the area of the wall. Now, in order to get the same amount of information we had as the part schedule, we're going to have to go ahead and format this in decimal form again, decimal feet, 2 decimal places. And we want to have no unit symbols on there, because if we have unit symbols on the data, Excel won't allow us to analyze it. We have to convert it back to the numbers, which is a hassle. We'll go to area, format this without the project settings, go to square feet, 2 decimal places, and no unit symbol. And so we should just have our raw data here. And we may want to add the unit types up on the top of the columns, so the headings.
Can you repeat the last step, please?
The how to
The properties.
the properties. You go to formatting right here, and you go to edit, and then you go to say length, and you go to field formatting, and you go to field format, and then you click off of use project settings, and then change the units to decimal feet. You change the rounding to 2 decimal places, and you make no unit symbol.
I was trying to change the properties from directly the formatting to the top.
Where?
That's
What, in the formatting?
yeah.
Right here?
On the top. Not
Oh, up here?
yeah. On the left hand side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the format unit. If you change from there, what properties will change? Or the whole cell will change, or what?
I don't know. I haven't used the formatting up here. I believe what it is, it'll be whatever column you're in, it will format that. Oh, I see. The parameters, that is the walls, the length right here. So you have to select something like, if it's on the length right now, so we go to format unit. If we were to change this to feet and fractional inches, we should see that the length changes right here. And so it's just a different way you can go about formatting. But let's go ahead and change that back to decimal feet and 2 decimal places. So it's just 2 different ways of going about doing the same thing. Let's go ahead and finish adding our units here. And again, let's go ahead and export this to Excel by using the text files. So go to schedule, and we'll have this wall schedule here. It's already selected. And we'll just make this whatever you want to name it in your file. Again, save, keep all the same information, and select OK. And then we'll go back into Excel, and we'll have to import or open up the file. So we'll go down to, let me see, so wall schedule, working copy, and it'll open up what we just had by going next, next. You can actually just hit finish if you want to. And it should have all the information here. Now, in order to get the same level of detail we had in our part schedule, as you can see, we would have to do a floor takeoff and a ceiling takeoff as well. So what this really does by using the parts, it not only increases the level of detail we get from that same that same element in the building, but it also decreases the amount of time we spend modeling that and then getting the data from it. So again, you can just use the same functions you did with the parts. And so if we really want to just convert this into a table, let's say let's go here, table has headers, and we'll make a total row. And so say we wanted to derive the quantities from this. Say we want a gypsum wallboard. We would have to make a formula equals this times this for just the height times the, height times the length. And that should give us our area in total square foot. Or actually, this is our area in square foot. So we have our area right here. What am I saying? But that is not completely accurate for different properties. I mean, for different estimation values. So say, for example, we go back into our model, and let's look at what we did. If we simply use the length of the wall from the original element, it would measure it from endpoint to endpoint. And if you're looking at drywall, for example, it's not that length. So you endpoint to endpoint, say that adds on 5% of the total material, that's a significant increase in cost. So to get the more accurate number, we would go ahead and use the parts. And again, if we want to just go through and add a floor schedule, just for talking purposes, let's go to floors, family, and we'll go to the perimeter, and we'll go to area, and we can just add all these values to it as needed and select OK. This is not terribly accurate. Let me add type. Let's add type in here so we can see what kind of floor we have. And then again, to do this for the floor, for the materials, we would again have to go to formatting, the perimeter, format the field to decimal feet, and we would have to increase the accuracy to 2 decimal places. And again, for the area, we would do the exact same thing just by getting rid of the unit symbol. And then again, we would have to go ahead and export the data to our port and a schedule, and we'll just make this floor schedule, working copy. And go ahead and hit OK. Go back into Excel. And open up a text file. Depending on the level of detail you're seeking and the estimating policies of your company or whatever estimating you're trying to do, you can derive these quantities in various ways. I personally suggest the parts, but if you want to go ahead and use just the family and the type and then plug that into formulas that you have in different estimating software, you can go ahead and do that. But that's what we have for today. And Wednesday,
When you say you input the formula, what do you mean by that?
like for a formula for an estimate, if you have a formula to say you take the perimeter of a floor and you have so much hardwood per perimeter per square foot in the perimeter, you can go use the perimeter of that floor and you can then put it into your hardwood formula and then create however much wood you need or how much metal you need or whatever you need. You can use the formula from this data. But this is essentially how you get the data from the model. Okay. So Wednesday we will start on this part of it, modeling the techniques to create 4D schedule simulations, modeling building elements to reflect construction techniques, and adding the information to the building model elements. So we'll do a little bit more of this, but we're actually just getting into Navisworks. So I want to trend towards Navisworks using the estimating and the quantity takeoff there, as well as the scheduling and the 4D simulations.